A few hundred years ago, chemist Robert Boyle identified the relationship between pressure and volume of a gas, and he discovered that pressure and volume is inversely proportional. So that means as one goes up, the other goes down. And we see this illustrated with the gas particles in this closed syringe. So the number of particles and temperature is the same. And we look at our initial state here where we have 3 units of volume at a given pressure. If we double the pressure, our volume decreases by a half. If we triple the pressure, our volume decreases by 1/3. So our pressure and volume won't always increase and decrease in these nice increments. So let's look at the mathematical relationship of pressure and volume in this mathematical equation right here. Pi multiplied by Vi is equal to Pf times Vf, where Pi is our initial or starting pressure. So for example, the pressure that we started with. Vi is our initial volume, our volume that we started with. And then Pf is our final pressure, so our new pressure, which could be here or here. And Vf is our new volume, so either here or here. So when we apply this law, we're always looking at some initial condition and then at a different condition where the pressure and volume have changed. So this equation has 4 different variables, and in a typical Boyle's law problem, you will be given 3 variables and asked to solve for 1. So one of the most important things you can do when you're solving a Boyle's law problem is to clearly identify what your variables are. So if you're solving for an initial pressure, you must be given a final pressure, a final volume, an initial volume. And so it'll be important for you to identify volume and pressure units. If you're solving for an initial volume, you must be given the final pressure, the final volume, and the initial pressure. If you're solving for the final pressure, then you must be given the initial pressure, the initial volume, the final volume. And if you're solving for the final volume, you must be given the initial pressure, the initial volume, and the final pressure. So there are 4 variables, and once you clearly identify what you're given and what you're solving for, then you just plug it in correctly to one of these 4 equations. Also, keep track of your units. The pressure units or the volume units will cancel out to give you the units of what you're solving for. And if they don't, then you haven't set up your problem correctly. So include your units when you plug into these equations. And we'll look at some examples in just a minute.